everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, February 11th, 2024. It must be really, really hard for Jack being an AA sponsor and then finding out that his sponsee was passed out in a bar this week. Yeah, he was so upset that he had to go right home and pour himself a drink. Can you believe the nerve of him? Yeah, he really, really knows the program. Step 1, stress. Step 2, Scotch neat. I mean, you gotta sometimes just have a little something to take the edge off, right? Worst sponsor ever. Life is stressing you out? Well, head on down to the Empty Glass, where for $100, the bartender will tell your husband that you were there, but will not reveal your drink order. Thank you so much. Nikki's fashionable sunglasses did nothing to hide her identity. What was the point of wearing the sunglasses? You're just going to be able to be identified so easily. Oh, the empty glass. That brings back memories. I think the last time that we were at the Empty Glass was with Billy, when he and Amanda were having their fling, not fling, their little meetings. The Empty Glass is the off the beaten path chosen dive bar for Genoa City's elite. It's fantastic. Where do you think the Empty Glass is located in the map of Genoa City? Is it downtown? Yes, I think that the Empty Glass is downtown. Society is midtown, and the athletic club is uptown, baby. All of our fine drinking establishments. I think Tesha should manage all three of them. Tessa should pop in at each of these to be the manager. Oh, I loved the hijinks at the bar. You know, Nikki coming back from the bathroom and realizing that Victor had her followed there. And then she was hiding right behind that beaded curtain, you know, ducking, trying to, you know, not let anyone see her while she's watching Victor bribing the bartender. And she pulls out her phone and fumbles with it and sends a drunk text to Jack. Oh my gosh, Nikki's drunk text was so relatable. I can count on two hands the number of text messages that I have sent in my entire life. So all my texts look like this. Any text I've ever sent looks exactly like that. It's impossible. I don't know how you people do it. And the whole autocorrect, don't even get me started on that. I'm surprised that text went through at all. Call Victor. Loot him someplace to meet, ass peas. Oh, what? Loot him someplace to meet? No. Lauren had to decode that one for me because I wasn't getting it. She's out. Oh, lure him someplace to meet. Thank you, Lauren, for interpreting that for me. And also now I feel completely justified in my stance that Nikki never really even wanted a sponsor. She wanted an enabler. She wanted a cohort. She wanted someone who was going to cover for her, and she knew, subconsciously probably, that that was going to be Jack. And I really hope that Lauren doesn't fall into that same trap now that she has agreed to temporarily take over Audra's old job at Newman Media. Ugh. Seriously? Lauren has to step down from her fabulous, I don't know, palace, wherever she goes, into a beautiful, bejeweled palace. She has to step down out of that to now shuffle paperwork for Nikki. I mean, I think it's going to be lovely to see these two ladies on screen more together, but to me, it sounds less like helping Nikki and more like a punishment for Lauren. Jack and Victor are low-key hating each other right now, but with the twist of having the shared goal of helping Nikki. Now, I think we all know that it is ridiculous the way that Nikki insists that Jack is the only one who could possibly be her sponsor. I mean, she dumped Seth like a hot potato because he was drinking, and then Jack probably had alcohol on his breath when Victor and Nikki showed up at the mansion door. That car ride was gorgeous, though. Ooh. Ooh. Being in a car and not having it result in a car accident was such a treat, such a luxury. I was like, let me just sit back and watch the world go by. I mean, the sound and the lighting was so relaxing. I could have just closed my eyes and fell asleep. And Nikki looked so beautiful looking out that window. Just totally destroyed and hung over, and yet looking so gorgeous. If she looks that good when she's destroyed and hung over, then sign me up. It was really beautifully lit and really beautifully done, but made no sense because rather than going home and, I don't know, getting a shower and maybe sleeping off the drunk, Nikki insists on going straight to Jack's house. Ew. I mean, like, she passed out on that bar table. All I could think was, is she seriously not dying to get out of these clothes? I mean, even if she had some sort of miraculous quick sober up, is she not thinking about, ugh, God, I just want to change my clothes? These are the details that Y&R Chat is giving you. You know, that introspection, that real deep dig into the story. And the characters and their motivations. Whatever. When they got there, Diane answered the door, and then Victor immediately realized, oh no, Diane knows his wife's secret. And have you noticed that Victor seems very concerned about keeping it a secret? Like, he told someone on the phone in the car, make sure word does not get out about this. Make sure no one finds out about my wife's whereabouts. And then he had the reaction of, oh great, Diane knows. And I think that really speaks to one of the reasons why Nikki doesn't want him to know. Victor wants to control everything, and she knows that if he knows how far she's sunk, then he's going to go into domination mode. He's going to go into world championship boxer mode, and he's just going to want to punch that alcoholism in the face like it's a heavy bag. And she doesn't want that. That's not how she wants to do it. I think Nikki fully realizes in her conscious mind that she is addicted and she is weak to this addiction. And I think in her subconscious mind, she thinks that Victor does not tolerate weakness, right? Newmans are fighters. And this is a battle that she's losing. This is a fight that she's losing. But I will say, to Victor's credit, he isn't acting that way. He's really been nothing but, attentive and caring and understanding with her. And he agreed to not fight letting Jack be her sponsor, if that's what she says she needs. And she really didn't give him much of a choice. She said, this is it, and you have to accept it. So he accepts that this is the direction that it's going, and, hopefully it'll get the job done. But, Victor's acceptance is one thing. I'm kind of wondering if Diane is going to pop up and have a problem with it. I think Diane could be another story in all of this that we just haven't really gotten to yet. I mean, her husband is giving a whole lot of attention to another woman who happens to be his ex-wife. And so far she has been very understanding and patient with him and concerned for his health and his recovery and all of this. But how long before she drops the nice act and, unleashes that inner bad girl that we know is in there? And to anyone who would argue that Diane doesn't have her inner bad girl, that she's lost her bad girl edge, I present to you Exhibit A. Diane could not wait to take her promotion and shove it in Phyllis's face. As if Phyllis needed this information at all. Like as if Phyllis has any vested interest in what's going on with Jack or Jabot at this point. But Diane had to tell her, I suppose you should hear this from me. Please, Diane. She just wanted Phyllis to know that she is doing great despite the coven alliance that was against her. I mean, it was Nikki and Ashley and Phyllis who were all partnering together to drive her out of town, and now look at them all. Look at them all. Nikki's off the wagon. Ashley's off her rocker. And Phyllis is really the last of them to get a taste of her own medicine and the whole, faked her own death thing. I'm sure Diane enjoyed watching her pay for that one. But, Diane wanted to do it. She wanted to rub it in Phyllis's face, and Phyllis took the bait a little bit, but Phyllis also was just insisting that she is fine. Oh, good for you. You got exactly what you wanted, Jack and Jabot. Well, I don't care. I'm doing fine. I got a certain spring in my step these days, as a matter of fact. I got a man who loves me, as a matter of fact. It is remarkable how completely delusional Phyllis is. Danny literally could have told her to go jump off a cliff, and she would still be slinking around, showing off that one bare naked shoulder, and giving the eyes and saying, I know you want me. I mean, just picture it. Danny saying, Phyllis, just go jump off a cliff, and Phyllis saying, I know you want me. That's the level of delusion that is going on here. And I love it. I love it. I really do. I want to see Phyllis and Danny and Christine on my screen more often. As soon as this all came back up, what was it, Thursday? I thought, why haven't I been seeing this? This is great. I want more of this. And Christine claimed this week to Phyllis that the gauntlet has been thrown. Oh, well, count me among the peasants. I'm ready to file into the arena and watch this battle play out. But who would I root for? I think that's got to be our poll question for this week. Who is your money on here? I mean, if you absolutely have to pick a side, Christine versus Phyllis, going for what they want, who do you think is going to win? I don't even know who to choose. I mean, I want to say Christine because of history and the fact that Danny is insisting that he doesn't have romantic feelings for Phyllis, but then why doesn't he just cut Phyllis out then if he's so in love with Christine and it's such a slam dunk that they're the ones to be together, then what's the problem? What would the conflict be? So I don't know. I think Phyllis has a chance here. Go to yrchat.com this week and tell me who you are rooting for if you have to pick. Forget about even if Danny is the prize. Just think about like Phyllis versus Christine at this age and stage. Who's going to win? They're probably both gonna lose. Because, I have to say, I am really impressed with Danny right now. Because Phyllis and Christine both want to one-up each other. Even though Christine plays it cool, like, she's better than it all. Whatever. She still wants to one-up Phyllis, and Phyllis is just more obvious about it. They both want him. They both want his affection, Phyllis in her slinky way, and Christine in her stern, bookwormish kind of way. They're two totally different women, equally alluring, of course. But this week, Danny said, enough! Enough already! Phyllis, you don't listen. And Christine, you're trying to tell me that I can't be friends with my son's mother? I'm not going to stand here and take this. I'm going back to the studio where I can get some peace and quiet. Ugh, Danny is just a peace-loving musician. He didn't sign up for all this drama. He thought he was going to have a happy little reunion with Christine. And the girls are the ones that are taking it there. I mean, I think this is amazing. And I think it's a twist on the typical love triangle. Because usually in daytime, and you know this is true, there's two ladies fighting over the guy, and the guy remains completely clueless and waffly. I mean, I'm thinking of like Liam on Bold and the Beautiful. I don't know why that's the idea that jumps out at me. But it's just like usually the guy's like, and while the girls go at it, and then he's just like, I don't know. And like he changes based on who he's talking to. But Danny is not doing that. Danny is taking control. He can see that the writing is on the wall, or the blood. The writing in blood is on the wall. And even though he has affection for both of them on some level, he is still willing to step aside to prevent the war. And there's going to be a war. Yes, I mean, we have been promised a war straight from Christine and Phyllis's mouths. There is no more beating around the bush, no more being subtle about it. I mean, they have stated it. There is a competition going on now. And I think that if the writers are really, really committed to investing some time in this story and in these characters, then it actually could be a fair fight this time around. What great kismet that Danny and Daniel have both found themselves in a triangle at the same time. And in fact, Daniel called it a triangle this week. And Danny tried protesting that that's what it was. And then Daniel just gave him this look like, well... I loved that little meta moment. It was almost like a winky wink to the audience. Danny doesn't think he's in a love triangle, but Daniel realizes that they're in a soap. Daniel had a moment of realizing they were soap opera characters right there and in a love triangle. The problem with Daniel's love triangle is that it's taking place between Heather, Daniel, and Ghost Lily. I'm just not invested in Ghost Lily at this point. I don't really need Devon being Ghost Lily's moral representative on the situation for like another month or however long it is. I need Lily to come back. This storyline is heating up too much and getting me too interested, and it needs a payoff soon. Because when the truth does come out, I didn't think about it, but Heather and Daniel and Lily, all three work at Chancellor Winters. So there's, even after the truth going to come out, there's going to be potential tension there. Plus, Lily is going to end up working with two of her exes because Billy's in the mix, and he's there fighting the good fight on Jill's behalf against menacing Mamie. She kind of dropped off for a couple weeks. We didn't see Mamie for a couple of weeks, and I forgot about her. And then the second I saw her face, I'm like, dang, it's good to see her again. I need more Mamie. There's actually a lot of potential drama at Chancellor Winters. It's like we're setting the little chess pieces on the board here at Chancellor Winters, but we haven't seen any action yet. But there's actually a lot of people working there now, which is nice. And I think Lily, when she comes back, is going to be in the middle of the whole mess because she's going to be between the Chancellors and the Winters. So when is Crystal Khalil due back? Does anybody know? Because it really can't be soon enough for me. Will you just look at Victor's 3 children turning out to be such great parents? Sorry, Abby, you're not in the club. Victor only has 3 children now. Sorry, Abby, you're an Abbott. Oh. Yeah, Adam and Nick had a great conversation about dadding this week. And it wasn't so much that Nick had some great earth-shattering advice to give. It was pretty much basic reinforcement, I would say. But it was just nice that Nick and Adam were able to talk human to human. Almost. Brother to brother. Almost. The Connor situation, I think, is going to be escalating more next week. Adam and Chelsea were able to come together this week, despite their differences, and they agreed to give Connor some space. But then, in the previews, I think they're going to go visit him to give him some extra support, and I don't know what the point of all this is. Is Connor going to try to encourage them to get back together? I don't know. I don't know what the story is here. Connor's locked up at his school. Claire's locked up at the mental institution. Victoria is spending all of her time traveling back and forth from Fairview these days. Is it really Fairview? Do we know if it's Fairview or is it just an unnamed mental hospital? I think it's Fairview. And where is it on the map of Genoa City? Another question. Downtown, right? Next to the empty glass. She and Cole can stop by the empty glass after they're done visiting Fairview. The Victoria and Cole part's very nice. Victoria and Cole have a lot of lost time to make up for, and I thought it was adorable the way that Cole told Victoria that he sees a lot of her in Claire. There's bonding. It's a lot of bonding. And Claire's smile is getting bigger and bigger each week. Even after she learned this week that Jordan surely escaped the fire. And Claire mentioned that Jordan had told her a couple of times that in a pinch, a fire makes a really great distraction. Which I think is some very practical advice for kids. I think that might be, I might have to sit my daughter down and have a talk with her about that. In an emergency, if the stuff gets too hot, start a fire. gets too hot, light it on fire, baby girl. Literally. Jordan's my kind of mom. My kind of aunt. I love her. But so why has Nikki not told anyone that she is still getting the unknown calls? That's a good question. Because if it was just the unknown calls, then okay, it could be anybody. But this week, we heard the bam, 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 bam. I mean, it's the unmistakable calling card of Aunt Jordan. Oh, Lord. And the Grammys were last week, and I'm kind of stuck in disbelief that that song did not get nominated for Song of the Year, because that's what it is to me. Are you a part of the human race? I think maybe that quote stuck with me last week so much because it just feels like a question that I've asked myself many times. Are you a part of the human race? Sometimes I feel like an alien. But it was Tucker who said that, and he said it to Audra, and I honestly did not think that you guys were going to get it, because normally I don't make the quotes that hard, because, but this one, I don't know, there was just something about the line that really caught my attention. But normally, like, it happened really quick, and it was early in the week, and I expected absolutely no one to get it. So I have to give really extra big congratulations to Ron, Hannah, Justin, Henry, Dolores, Brittany, Daisy, and Sharon W, because I really can't believe that you guys caught that. So, I mean, well done. You proved me wrong. I think this one's easier, but I don't know, may still be difficult. You have to let me know. I never can tell, but I like this little moment. You tell me who said it. Patience sucks. Oh, ain't that the truth? Patience sucks. Who said it? Well, if you think you know, then you should go to yrchat.com to leave your guess, and if you get it right, then I will give you your shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. And now on to your comments, starting with Kamna, who says, best line of the week was Audra saying, Dios mío, to Tucker. Oh, as the child of immigrants, I can tell you that when we swear in our native tongue, it means we are pissed. Oh, I agree, Kamna. No doubt about it. This was the best line of the week. Audra finds out that Tucker is having Ashley followed, wants to know when she gets home from Paris. She pulled the phone out of his pocket and looked at the text message come up, and she got so mad that she said, Dios mío! I love it. I mean, you can really tell that Y&R is investing in Audra now, right? I mean, a couple weeks ago, we learned more about her father and his alcoholism, and now we learn that she speaks Spanish. I don't know how it is that she has been on the show for over a year now, and she's never spoke Spanish before. I am a lord. I had to go look it up. I said, where is she from? The actress is first-generation Mexican-American, and I did not know that. I just thought that she was from the planet Sexy. In the country of, oh, wow, in the city of gorgeous. And now I know. Now I know. She's almost, I love it. Thank you, Y&R, for letting Audra be just a little bit more than the one-dimensional vixen. Let's give her some culture, for crying out loud. I also think it's interesting that Mamie sized Audra up while she was talking to Nate, saying that Audra reminds her of Jill. And I agree. The Jess Walton Jill, because that's the only one I know. But for sure, that fits. Campy, vampy, money-hungry man-eater. That works for me. And I wonder if that could be a little bit of foreshadowing for Audra's future, now that they do seem, Y&R does seem to be investing in her, and we've got that comparison straight from Mamie's mouth, so I don't know, we'll see. Sharon W. says, I loved the personal displays of affection between Audra and Tucker during their lunch at the athletic club. He held her hands and stared into her eyes while never taking his gaze off of her. I'm buying it. He still has his own sexy ways about him. I'm sold, and I felt so bad when he told Audra that Nate was younger than him and more handsome than him. Heads up, Tucker. Don't succumb to the writer's misguided dialogue that they give you and Adam. You are both so much better than that. Oh my gosh, I know that moment where he was like, well, he's comparing himself. I mean, he's comparing himself to Nate, which is unfair for any man. It is impossible. But he's looking over at Nate and he's going, why are you guys looking at each other? Well, I mean, he is younger and better looking and probably better hung than me. I mean, I read that between the lines. He didn't say that, but that's what he was thinking. Oh, Lord, forgive me. Oh, I know, but Tucker, too, it's like, he does have that way of making you feel a little sorry for him. Like, I shouldn't feel sorry for Tucker. He is a barracuda. Why am I feeling sorry for him? But he does. He turns that little sensitivity, and it's just like, yeah, I'm buying it. And I really am buying Audra and Tucker. I like them together a lot. I mean, everything Audra and Tucker on the show right now is so good. They're so good independently, and they're even better together. Victoria says, well, Tucker was busy planting seeds, getting ready for spring. He planted a seed with Tracy to have her begin to feel like Ashley is the aggressor. Tucker then planted a seed with Audra, double entendre if you wish, to groom her as his pawn in besting Jabot. And finally, Tucker planted a seed with Billy to spur him to go against his family and take over Jabot. But does Tucker have what it takes to grow his intended harvest? I'll be watching to see what happens. Yeah, you know, oh gosh, that's great. Gosh, I mean, first of all, I love this spring theme. So let's comment, Victoria. I give that the gold star comment of the week. That is fantastic. But I love that you're pointing that out, because when he said that to Billy, like, wouldn't mind seeing you take over Jabot. I thought, well, that is so out of the blue. Billy doesn't even work at Jabot. He doesn't care about Jabot right now. He's on good terms with Jack right now. Why are we mentioning this? But you know, you make a good point there. I mean, Tucker is trying to cultivate a company that will compete with Jabot eventually, and so maybe that must be what he's thinking. I get lost in these companies though now when they're off screen and we only talk about them and there's no office and nothing ever happens, so that part gets a little muddy for me. But I think that you make a couple of really great points about what Tucker's actually doing, planting little seeds around town. But the bigger question here is he gaslighting Ashley? And last week, I asked you guys what you think. 62% of you said, no, he's not gaslighting her. He's telling the truth, and it's in her head. Only 38% voting yes, that he is gaslighting. Kamna says, well, the story could go either way. But I think that even Ashley knows deep down that he wasn't violent, because if she had that visceral fear for him, she wouldn't encourage a relationship with Devon, or sorry, with Dom. Well, and Devon. I mean, that's a great point, Kamna, because when she came back from Paris, she was shook up, but there was a whole bunch of steps in between getting back from Paris and then her deciding that there was this violent memory where she was trying to reunite Tucker with his family, even though they had broken up. So if she believed he was this violent monster and she was so scared of him, then why would she do that? Great point. Sue W's voted no, that Tucker is not gaslighting Ashley, at least not deliberate gaslighting. I'm thinking that Ashley's version of events is correct, but Tucker has such a deluded self-image that he really believes himself to have had the irritated but calm and reasonable reaction that he's recounted. So basically, he's a bully / abuser, to what degree I don't know, who just doesn't perceive himself that way. Well, I think that's interesting, that it's really like, who knows what the actual truth is? I mean, you would need some kind of third party, but again, even a third party would have their own perspective on things and would draw from their life's experiences on things. But I think you're probably right. It's like Ashley felt scared and shocked, and so her mind processed it as violent. Tucker sees himself as not violent and, as you say, sort of self-delusional, so he just processed it as, yeah, I was mad. So, the truth, is there really one? I don't know. Are we ever going to know? I doubt it. The only way we're ever really going to know the truth is if it turns out that Tucker is gaslighting, and then we see a scene where he is actually paying off, the whole city of Paris. Tony says, I want to see Tucker save Ashley from this delusion. I believe he truly loves her. He'll go to Paris again, relive the dinner scene, then bring her back to Genoa City, and they could live in their own place maybe and just be an old couple for a while. They can do it. That's a really interesting point, too, that Tucker maybe should be the one to save Ashley from this rather than stoking the fire. Yeah, that would be the mature thing to do. So we know it won't happen. Well, here is Ellen with some truth about Nikki. Ellen says, if only Nikki had common sense. She receives anonymous phone calls that she knows are from Jordan. Is that right? And has she informed Victor, the security team, the police, or does she just keep it to herself and drink? I know she's struggling with alcohol, but she didn't have a lobotomy. Come on, let's see Nikki take some sensible steps. Fingers crossed, because I'm not excited for a helpless Nikki story. Yes. Why has she told no one about the phone calls? That is glaring. Maybe next week when she sobers up. Sherrod says, has Nikki's enablers never heard of rehab? Put the woman in for treatment. It'll help her sobriety, plus keep her safe from Jordan. But then, where would the writers have this made-up drama from? That's another nice little bit of truth. Like, duh, rehab. Yep. Oh, Victoria says, well, other chatters have mentioned how Jack shouldn't be drinking if he's sponsoring Nikki. This idea really struck me this week. After Jack's run-in with Victor and Nikki's outrage about her drinking, Jack arrived at home stressed. He immediately got a drink. This is exactly what he is asking Nikki not to do. A better scene would have been Jack picking up the bottle to pour a drink and then having the memory of Nikki flash into his mind. And then after remembering her struggle, he sets down the bottle and vows to find a better way to decompress. Victoria, yes, yes, yes. Double, triple, quadruple, yes. I mean, did Y&R just not think about this? Does Y&R know? I mean, has it not occurred to them? Is it like an accidental thing, like Jack is used to just having his drink, so he just does it and it's just part of the scene and nobody, connects that dot? Why would nobody connect that dot? It is such a missed opportunity, as you say, that he did not choose to not have the drink. And in fact, I was watching for that, because the second I saw him pour the drink, I'm like, I was waiting to see if the scene played out where, as you described, he decides to not take the drink. But no, he just kept on drinking. It is a little tone deaf, and I just wonder if it's accidental or on purpose. Will we ever know? Well, Calmness says the idea of Lauren being Nikki's CEO is almost as boring as Abby joining the Chancellor Winters board. Sigh. Could Sally's business being in trouble be a sign that she could be heading back to Newman? Yeah, on both accounts, Kamna, yeah, I don't feel excited about Lauren becoming Nikki's co-CEO. And yeah, it seems like Sally's business is maybe dead in the water. And I mean, there's no drama if she's not at Newman. There's nothing for her to do. But then again, it's like I don't look forward to that either, because then it's just back to the Adam, Nick, Sally triangle. And I like that Adam and Nick are getting along, and I don't really want to see Sally thrown in there as just something for them to fight over. I don't know what they're going to do with Sally. We'll see how that pans out next week, but she said they're in trouble, so you can probably believe that, like, I don't know, Newman's going to have to buy out her company or something. She'll be under their umbrella or something. And also Victor gave Adam his, like, blessing about the relationship with Sally a couple weeks ago, so that's got to be right. Well, Tanya says, I like the scene with Adam and Nick. It was a really nice scene, and I'd rather see them bonding like this than seeing them fight, but it was nice seeing them talk at the bar. Yeah, I mean, I think it was a nice scene. Not super riveting. I mean, it wasn't plot driven. It was just characters, just them talking. I do think both of these guys are going to need something to do soon, though. They can't can't be all bonding all the time. I mean, I'd love to see them playing video games together or something. That'd be kind of cool. Actually hanging out with the kids would be kind of cool. If Y&R is going to continue on this, we just want to build this relationship trajectory. But otherwise, we're going to need some kind of plot. And if the answer is Sally, count me out. Dolores has a great perspective here that I didn't even think of. Dolores says, Danny, in this moment, you cannot have it all. This is going to require you to make a choice as to what you feel is best for you and your peace of mind. If cricket is where you want to be to get closer with, then you and only you need to set those boundaries with Phyllis and stop running away. In the end, you will ultimately need to stop the madness. You will ultimately need to stop the madness. Oh, yes, it's a soap, and that's not going to happen anytime soon, but hopefully Danny will still have his sanity. Yeah, you know what? You're right, Dolores. If what Danny wants is Christine, then establishing the boundary with Phyllis is what he should do. But that just begs the question, then why hasn't he done that? Is it because he actually does have some feelings for Phyllis? And those feelings are probably below the belt, because it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of, like, bonding going on with Phyllis and Danny. It's usually sexual. It's usually Phyllis seducing him. Like, Christine, it's an emotional seduction, it's a romance. It feels like romance with Christine, and with Phyllis it feels like seduction. And he's falling for it. He's falling for it. I mean, Phyllis must make him feel a certain way, and that's alluring to him. I think that the women were right this week when they said maybe he just doesn't know what he wants. Well, Sharon W. says, do we want Billy to call out Devon more forcefully than he did on Monday's show? Nate did stand up for Billy's right to attend the meeting, but Nate and Billy are both letting Devon make all the company plans, not to mention Lily and Jill, too. King Devon! Long live King Devon! I thought it was reasonable. I mean, I loved the way, like, Devon was just like, yeah, it's no big deal. I mean, yeah, I guess he's not in the meeting, but I didn't think it was a big deal. And I didn't think it was a huge deal either, but then again, I don't know. I don't know what their corporate culture is. Billy felt left out, and they addressed it, and that's good, but what comes next? I like Gary's assessment here, saying that, but Devon is so much more subtly self-righteous than your average. Okay, I'm going to pause there, because, yes, it's subtle. He's just like, I didn't think it was inappropriate. It's fine. Let's move on. Whatever. I mean, he doesn't have to be in every meeting. There'll be more meetings. You know, it was subtle. Gary goes on to say, his passive aggressiveness just has finesse. He is imperious in his judgments, and it's kind of impressive. In challenging Devon, he's formidable and prepared for the I am better than you / morally superior to you freeze out. But the good news is, one long day from now, he will forgive you. I liked when he was listing off Lily's heartaches to Daniel, and he threw in how she went to prison. Well, he put her there. No matter that the dead one is now back to Genoa City soon. Yeah, he definitely threw that out there, but forget to mention how he was the one that was like holding the torch, ready to send Lily to the gallows. Oh goodness, my camera was cut out on me there. Hopefully I got that part. I'm going to be mad if anything happened there. But I like this talk of Devon because he's not really in any plots. He just sort of floats into the scene with his judgmental way. And Sue W. says, Devon is an integral part of many stories and relationships. And I think that Brighton James perfectly portrays Devon as a basically decent guy whose puffed up ego often gets in the way of his best intent. Just another doofus living in one of the many glass houses in Genoa City. Puffed up ego. Beautiful phrasing. Completely describes Devon along with Gary and his subtly self-righteous attitude. Yes, this is the essence of Devon. And you know, it's annoying, but it's also real. I mean, I feel like I know him. I feel like I've met this guy before. And so, I mean, in that way, it's like he's a character. It's a perspective. He's there. He's doing what he's supposed to do. Well, we also have Gary with the most important fashion notes for the week. Gary says, Abby has a bow in her hair. Lauren Fenmore is featuring the usual Fredericks of Hollywood day wear. And Nikki looks so cool in the shades and lime coat, slipping into the glass onion. Oh no, the empty glass bar and grill. No homes, but a lot of great places to hang. I just have to say, Fredericks of Hollywood is the perfect way to describe Lauren and everything that she wears. Nikki was looking very cool in those shades, and Victoria says, yes, Abby looked so high school with her bow. She also sounded like a high schooler when she told Tessa, Devon and me were talking about me being on the board, and I wanted to say, Abby, you use I before the verb and me after. Ooh, burn. Burn on Abby's correct grammar, but I have to say it's a total thumbs up on the high school bow. I mean, the bow in the hair, and then she had on like a little almost crop top looking top with the pants, and the whole thing was just very Valley Girl. It's like, OMG, gag me with a spoon, Abby. Well, we have reached the end of another Y&R Chat, and it's Super Bowl Sunday. Are you guys watching the Super Bowl right now? Are you watching the Super Bowl and listening to Y&R Chat at the same time? That would be a crazy mix-up. Although, I don't know, I don't watch sports. But I imagine it's all very similar to soap operas, and I'm not kidding. I mean, you have your characters, right? You have your players that you know, and they have their personalities. They're like characters, and you have the stories that are going on. I mean, if you follow sports, you probably know, maybe some news stories pop up about a certain player. So you've got some plot there, and then you've got the plot of the day. You're turning in to find out who will be the winner, and that is plot. So, I mean, you've really got it all. There you go. Soap operas and the Super Bowl are not that different. Soap operas and sports, not that different. We all like our stories. At the end of the day, we all like our stories. I hope you guys are liking these stories on Y&R. I mean, next week should also give us Valentine's Day week, so we should also get some, hopefully, romance stories going on next week, too. I think it's all going pretty well. I'm enjoying it, and enjoying chatting with you guys about it, too, as always. So, if you'd like, you can go to yrchat.com to leave some comments about the show, and if you like, you can come back next Sunday and hear me again. Gag me with a spoon. These are the great things all about Y&R Chat. Greatest hits. That should go on the next Y&R CD. What was it called? Like Kitty's Bounce. That has to go on the next compilation album for Y&R. Do they not have that for an MP3 download right now? They should. Why are you not merchandising that, Y&R? Oh. Okay, everybody. I love you, and I will see you next Sunday.